Okay, I think we're live, finally, after all of that rubbish that we just had to go through with Discord and YouTube.
But now it's all fallen into place.
So hello everybody, welcome to another stream. We've got some bits and pieces to show off tonight. It's been a pretty busy week. I think we've all done lots of work this week. I've been sort of busy with real life stuff as well as working on the mod, so I'm pretty tired. We've had a few problems this evening getting the stream going, and I've sort of had a few technical problems with YouTube and stuff, so hopefully we're good to go now. So I think we're pretty much all here tonight, apart from Spencer. I know CW was here a minute ago. He should be coming back. Oh, you're here. Oh, I see. It just says that you're offline in my... All right, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll let you guys say hello.
Hello.
Perfect.
Am I supposed to do like a full introduction? Or...
That's totally up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one up.
I'm Monty, I'm programming.
But Blixie can't talk, but Blixie Bond's here, who is
Oh,
our
yes.
programming consultant.
Turn my phone off.
I'm CW3D. I am the sound designer and soon to be voice actor for Entropy 0.
I'm Craddock. I'm the model and texture monkey.
Yo soy Sprite Cranberry. No English.
He animates. And I'm Trivy. I'm the voice of Bad Cop.
Hooray! That is the Entropy 02 team, folks. Well, actually, that's a good point. I'm missing out Spencer, Sergeant Stacker, Max Brando, but you get the idea. So I'm gonna just go ahead and show off something pretty cool. It's like a little trailer piece, a piece that Trivy put together. Do you want to say anything about it, Trivy? Before I start?
Sure. I basically just saw the little alpha teaser thingamajig that you put out, and I was like, I'm gonna do something like that, do a little old thing on it. And you have what I've made, and we're going to premiere shortly.
I'm going to do it right now. If you guys are ready, I'm just going to hit the button. Just do it.
They used to tell me it wasn't normal to be like me. I don't have one thing to give up for this job. My morality. Some would say I never had it anyway.
Oh, lovely.
It was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I quite like that. I think it's kind of cool that you can do the SFM stuff, Trivy.
Yes. It wasn't a massive load of effort, I'll be honest. I'm not that good an animator, as Sprite will tell me I'm trash.
No, I don't think you're trash. I think what we need to do is utilize those skills when it comes to doing our sort of proper trailers. Because the one that I released the other day was more of a, it's the new year, let's just throw something out there for people to look at. But I think, we should collaborate on a proper trailer. We should design it, and we should use your skills, with SFM to put something really fancy together when it gets to that point.
We'll have to see if I have time. It depends on how big an SFM project it is, because as you know, I'm starting a master's degree soon.
Yeah.
So I won't be able to put like massive amounts of effort into something like that, but we'll see.
Sounds good. So I guess what have we been doing this week? There's been loads going on. I think in terms of the media front, I've been pretty quiet. I haven't really been saying much because I've just been busy getting back to work with my real life stuff. But we've been doing a lot. So if I could hand over to One Up D first, I guess, to talk about the code changes that have been made this week because they're really exciting. I can't wait to show them off.
Sure. So the focus this week has been on implementing the response system for bad cops' voice lines. So the idea is that rather than having voice acting as something that's scripted into the level that happens, very sort of linearly in sequence, only on command, it's going to be something that's more like dynamic running in the background of the game. Bad Cop is going to keep sort of his own memory of the game state, and he is going to be able to make decisions about what to say based on what's going on. If you command a squad mate, or if you pick up a weapon, or if you kill something, those are all sort of triggers that can randomly play a different set of voice lines for Bad Cop. Hopefully we'll be able to show that a little bit later on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning on showing it off when we do the testbed walkthrough, but it's so cool. I think it's really powerful because essentially what it does is it removes the need for us to do anything through Hammer and back up sort of more intelligently commenting on the things that are happening in the map. So it's super cool, and it will empower players that build maps for Entropy Zero later on because it'll just be a natural thing. It will just happen. You don't have to do anything for it.
Absolutely.
We're building Entropy 02 with modding in mind, pretty much. We've been having discussions and particularly designing functions around modability.
Yeah, that's something I really want to push, is that everything that we do here will end up being public. When we finish Entropy 02, we're going to put out like an FGD. We're going to put out some written things because a lot of the things that we're doing are quite different and quite unique, especially with this new sort of like this context system, the player talker system that we've got going on here. That's really cool stuff, but we need to make sure that we document it so that people know how to use it, because in theory, if you were to take the Entropy 02 base that we're working on now in the future, you could have your own mod that could be completely different to Entropy Zero, with your own talking protagonist who was smart enough to comment on different things like taking fall damage, taking electrical damage, getting shot, ordering squad mates around and stuff like that. So it's kind of like whilst we're building this, we're making sure that we're doing it in a way that sort of presents modders with a foundation to work with. It's
Absolutely.
fun.
Oh, I think it's a lot of fun. The other thing I was working on this week also is sort of on the same note of giving power to modders later on, but I don't think I can talk about it very much because it's some custom code for a particular encounter that we probably don't want to spoil at this time.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the spoiler stuff. I think we're going to have some sort of spoiler stream because, I mean, it's all on Trello anyway. If anyone can go to our Trello and basically they'll get half the plot, if not all of the plot, straight away. We haven't held anything back on there.
And again, the Trello is not as, I suppose, I don't know what the word is. It's not as exposed as the stream is. The stream's like a very public, come and look at us sort of thing. The Trello's like a little thing off to the side that you can go and Kranich breathing down the mic.
Sorry.
Go and take a look at. It's like, Jesus Christ, is he dying in there? Sorry, bleeping headcrab zombie. But yeah, so the Trello is like quite out of the way, so you really need to make a conscious decision to go and read the Trello and spoil it. But with a stream, it's kind of like there might be stuff in the stream that isn't particularly spoilery and would be nice for people to know about. But then it's just like if they watch the stream, they don't really know how to avoid the spoilers unless we do like a pre-rendered video where it's like, if you don't want spoilers, skip to 2 minutes 38 seconds.
Yeah, it's really difficult because I'm so excited about the stuff that we're doing, and I know that it's really unique. I don't think I know anyone else who's doing this kind of stuff, but it's at the same time we can't really talk about it because it's going to spoil the whole thing. So we have to be careful about that.
I was very tempted at the end of the alpha teaser to put some really sort of sneaky sort of hint towards some of the spoilery stuff that's like doesn't really say anything, but it's like, oh, what's that? I'm thinking we could do it that way. So if when I make another teaser, there's like a little hint of some of the more sinister things that we're thinking of putting in plot wise.
Yeah, I think
to
that's
sort
a
of
good
give people
idea.
a bit of a tease.
I think that's a cool idea. We're going to have to say something at some point. There's a lot of things like with the Zen relay grenade. There are elements of that are just bound to sort of make it out into the public eye at some point. It's going to happen, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there are quite a few big things in the game that would be nice to be revealed without it being spoiled beforehand. But if there was one thing that I probably wouldn't mind too much being spoiled beforehand, is probably the whole deal with the Zen Grenade and why we're being secretive about it.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention the changes to the Zen Grenade. Those are pretty significant as well.
Yeah, you should talk about them because they are awesome.
So so that part in particular is not considered a spoiler at this point? Just the mechanics of how it works?
Oh yeah, the mechanics and stuff is fine. It's just the reason we're not showing it is because it has a very particular thing on the model that kind of
Right.
spoils the
Of
thing in the
course.
story. But mechanically, that's fine.
That makes sense. So the new changes to the Zen Grenade, it now acts like a grenade rather than like a slam. I don't know if that was really showcased before, but it was sort of a trap that you would deploy. But with the way it works, it's actually a lot more intuitive to use it like a grenade, where you can throw it and it will detonate on its own after about a second or so. But the new changes, the more exciting changes rather, are because the explosion created by the grenade is actually a portal to Zen that sucks matter in. It can also transport things back from Zen, and depending on how much mass the portal consumes on our side, it will send something from Zen, like in particular a creature of a similar mass, back. So basically, it not only does it create a black hole, but it's also going to create a hostile enemy.
It's kind of, by the sounds of it, it kind of sounds like a snark sort
Yep.
of weapon, which is
Anyway, do you want to explain how the whole enemy spawning system works? Because that's really quite interesting.
Yeah.
Especially from a lore standpoint around how we're saying the Zen Grenade works as well. Because when you hear about it, it's like, wait, how does that work? But then when it's explained, it's actually like, oh, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's super cool. I'll let one up do the explaining, but I think we're going to be designing sections around it. I think we could easily design sections around it with the sort of utility of the grenade in mind, because it's really cool and players are going to want to play with it.
Right. I don't know if the explanations behind the mechanic are set in stone, but sort of the way I was conceptualizing it is like the volume of the portal on the Zen side is dependent on the mass consumed by the Earth side. Right. So different creatures will come through depending on how much it is, but the end result is that it's just a very chaotic weapon, because you can use it if you can suck in enough props or enemies with it. You can get something powerful like a bull squid to come fight, hopefully on your side, but it'll attack you too if you don't stay out of its way. So it's something that you need to use very tactically to try to decide, like, where can I put this to do as much damage to the enemies as possible without blowing it back on me.
Well, if you think about it, if that Zen Grenade, it's very powerful. It's going to pretty much kill everything within the immediate area. So if it spawns that bull squid, it probably means it's killed enough enemies that there's going to be nobody else left but you in the room anyway.
Right.
But I mean, that's why it takes in props as well. So you could have like enemies on one side and then props on the other. So you toss it at the props to let the bull squid,
Exactly.
do its job.
There's some seriously cool gameplay sort of connotations because of the way that it works, and I'm really excited to sort of try and design encounters around it. so that the sort of smarter players will think, I could use a Zen Grenade over there and spawn like an antlion or something to get their attention. I think that would be so cool. I love it. I can't wait to play with it. We're nearly there as well. I think it's going to show up at the end of chapter 2. So after that, we can start looking at things. I thought of something the other day, and I don't know how we're going to deal with it. And I'm just going to mention it now. So we're all aware that chapter 3 is the APC section, right? What do we do if a player decides to swallow their APC with the Zen Grenade?
Oh no.
Guess I'm walking then.
Guess I'm
I
walking.
haven't even
Yeah.
thought about it.
Well,
Oh no.
Well, I mean, we could allow it to happen, and then literally make the players walk.
It also
Or you
depends
could
when
trigger
you
a fail
use
state.
grenade.
Spawns a rideable gargantuan.
I think there's a like if you lose the car in episode 2, there is like a game over message. So
Yeah,
you
it triggers a
could do
fail
that.
state.
Oh, that's an idea. Yeah, we could do that.
Or you
I
could-
would like to see a more exciting, like more interesting solution rather than just you lose the game.
You
try
could
again.
just say that the APC was immune to the Zen Grenade, and we could come up with some plot contrivance for why that is. Maybe it's like some kind of prototype APC thing, I don't know. But, I mean,
Heavy duty APC.
it could just be so heavy it can't fit through a portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
Or something. I mean, that was a joke, but you could come up with something like that. Like, has some kind of I don't know, like maybe they
Yeah.
went, oh, we don't know what those sneaky rebels have going about up here, so and we know that they deal with portal technology or something. So we came up with some kind of magnetized armor plating that negates the magic.
The magic.
The negates the magic.
Negates the magic.
Negates magic. So APC
Right.
of magic negation. +1 mage killing or something. I don't know. but I mean, I guess it's like. Well, we could do that, or you could make it a fail state, or you could just make it that the game isn't impossible without the APC, but it's really bloody hard. But I guess then
Just have to
the
walk.
problem would be with it, like, well, you can do water hazard without the airboat. It's just really tedious, and like a lot of people will just not bother.
Yeah.
So.
I could just make the APC impervious to the Zen Grenade, so you
Yeah, I
get
feel
ready
like
throw it
that's probably
underneath
the
and
best
nothing
idea.
happens.
What I was going to say is the singularity right now doesn't have a very strong pull, so it could just be that the APC is too heavy and doesn't get pulled.
Yeah.
We could, yeah.
and
I mean, that could be it as well.
it wouldn't look as unnatural as it sounds like it would look, just based on how I've seen things interact with it. We might want to make the pull a little bit stronger though, so I don't know going forward. Another solution would be you could just have multiple APCs. So like, oh, I lost mine, I gotta go find another one. If there's like hidden areas in
Like
the map
a giant APC.
Yeah, we could do
dispenser,
that.
Like the manhack dispensers from Entropy 01, but it's like a big, like, maybe like you press E on a console and just like a big thing like
An
shoves
APC
out
comes out.
and it's
Oh.
like, oh, wicked.
Oh, you call a dropship in to drop a APC.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fucking cool.
That is a good idea. That's a cool idea, actually.
I don't know how
That
I would do it, but that is cool.
That would like be such a shame though, because then that would be that's a really cool idea. Then we're gonna have to like encourage people to destroy their APC so that they see the really cool idea of the dropship dropping there.
And then you throw a Zen Grenade up with the dropship, and the dropship gets sucked in. Then he has to call in a dropship to drop off another dropship to drop off the APC.
Now, there's another technical issue here as well that I'm going to have to word it in an ambiguous way, but you'll understand what I'm saying. There is we're going to meet somebody in chapter 2, and we're going to have the option of having that somebody accompany us, right? I thought in the past about having some sort of rack at the back of the APC to sort of like chuck him on.
Oh yeah,
But
Oh.
but if you could, maybe we could, what happens if he gets sucked into the Zen Grenade?
I thought he'd be done with before, like I thought we would just leave him behind before we got the grenade.
We're,
I didn't
we're,
realize
mean,
that
we're
he
gonna
would be a
do,
different character.
we're going to do the episode 2 gnome thing where you can take him to the end and he'll talk to you throughout the game, and it's kind of like
secret ending.
yeah, like a bit of fun.
the gnome was optional, so maybe if you do get him sucked into a grenade, that's your fault.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe
I was
that's just the
I was
end
gonna
of that
I was
character.
gonna suggest as well, because I with that, I kind of want players to assume that they can't, like, because on a certain map you need it to stay where it is so it can have a door open like for you. Because if you take it off the thing, it like closes the door, which means you can't proceed. So then it's assumed that you can't take it along. But I want players to figure out that they can jam a door to then allow them to take that thing with them. So I kind of, it is
Yeah.
an optional thing as well.
It's an optional thing, but I want it to be almost accompanying the main story. Like when they figure it out, they've got a companion there, sort of for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be funny, but it's also going to be cool at the same time. I think we could do that tastefully. I don't want to say any more about that because secrets, filthy secrets.
That reminds me of something. Did we want like possibly winter variants of stuff like the Strider and the Dropship and stuff?
Yeah, so I've already got a winter variant of the Hunter, which I've got in the game, but it would be cool to see winter variants of other things. I know we want to sort of...
Because it's stuff like this. I'm not saying let's use this. I presume we'd make our own, but this is an example of one that someone's done already, which would be the kind of thing I'd be doing. For the Strider, and you could very easily apply a similar philosophy to the dropship and to whatever other combine auxiliaries we plan to use, but on white.
I mean, personally, I would chuck camo on it rather than having it just a whitewash. If you look at the Hunter texture I've got in the game at the minute, I would go for something like that. That's just a personal taste thing. I think those look too sort of whitewashed.
My main thing is just that these are meant to be like still organic beings that have just been modified, and the thing with all these is that although they look like armor plating, it looks like natural armor plating.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Colorized. And if it's camouflage, it's going to be like, well, then at that point it's kind of, well, it doesn't really. I'm just going to have a look at the texture real quick.
Yeah. Try it in game as well, because it's quite subtle in game.
Like, I mean, here it doesn't look too obvious, but at the same time, it's like, well, I can still. The camouflage still looks very artificial. It looks like an actual military camouflage pattern.
Yeah.
And that.
I mean,
and I feel like we could do something. We could do something like camouflage, but that might be worth looking into something like natural types of wildlife that have Arctic camouflage.
Yeah, that's a good
rather
idea.
Than just being white, for example. How do Arctic fish blend into that environment, for example, or whatever other creatures we can find that have some kind of natural camouflage, and use that to kind of inform our design philosophy? Because obviously it doesn't look like just being painted on. I'm not sure about that.
You make a good point, because I think thinking about it like that, the only ones that would actually use any sort of Arctic camo would be the soldiers. That would make more sense for the soldiers, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, yeah, but that's why I feel like it would be better to have some kind of natural-looking camouflage or something. Because I mean, although the Strider in there is quite white, the armor plating still looks like armor plating. It still looks like a natural part of the Strider. Now the Hunter looks kind of silly. I won't lie there. I'm not a fan of how he decided to do the Arctic camouflage on that one. But I really like how the Strider looks. And I think on the Strider he seems to have nailed down the idea, because it does still look like that kind of uneasy melding between machine and biology, but like just adapted.
Yes, yeah.
I agree. Cool. The Hunter in this one is a bad example. I wasn't sending this for the Hunter example. It's terrible. The Strider is more like what I was thinking of.
Well,
for the Hunter, we can probably use some kind of. We can probably fiddle with its iridescence a bit and make it look like still camouflage, but a
bit lighter, maybe, or something.
I'm thinking, for example, we make it look a more natural shade of white. But then we have the iridescence, but it's like a very light blue,
Yeah,
a very
that would work.
slight blue, and I think that would work for some kind of Arctic camouflage, and that would work for making it look natural. Because part of what I think makes the hunter look really artificial here is there's no iridescence.
Yes, that's true.
And part of why the hunter looks so iconic is because of like the really well done iridescence and the Fong warping. So I think that's something we could fix.
I think have a play around with it. Do what you want with it. I like the idea, like you said, of using like natural camo kind of thing, like looking at what things are using in the natural world and sort of applying that.
I was gonna point out because someone asked about this earlier in the week in the Entropy Zero chat if we're going to see any Arctic like variants of the Combine. I pointed out that that might not be the case because we've only just arrived at the Arctic, and I'm pretty sure the Combine only changed the way they look is when they take over a place in a certain environment. So like Nova Prospect, it was a prison, and then you've got Combine soldiers that have come in and settled in, and they've had to change the way they look to verify that they're Nova Prospect soldiers. So I think, we could still have them like appear later on because as the Combine occupy the Arctic.
Yeah, I was thinking sort of if we were going to see the Arctic, for example, if we were going to do Arctic camo soldiers, that would probably be towards the end of the game, when we're sort of way into what's going on up there.
What I think is
Dear.
on that subject, the Combine is shown to have the Combine. There's no reason to suggest that the Combine don't have pretty much total domination over all major centers of population, and there are major centers of population in cold and Arctic environments like Greenland, like a significant chunk of Russia, and other really really cold places like maybe North Canada, Alaska, that kind of thing. In those kind of circumstances, I'd think their soldiers there would already have some kind of Arctic camouflage. And so I would have thought that the Combine already had Arctic camouflaged soldiers, and so in that case it would make sense for them to send that kind of design to the Arctic. I was thinking because the Combine's a military body, right? In real life, if we were to fight in an environment, we wouldn't say, right, let's take over the environment and then create camouflage that helps us fight in that environment.
They're going to be all over the planet, aren't they? Really?
Exactly. So I would expect them to have soldier variants that would allow them to work in basically any environment with effective enough camouflage.
Yeah, using that logic, then I think maybe it is best to just go with Arctic camo from the start and just sort of just present that as like a new sort of look for the Combine.
Yeah. I don't think that the Combine wouldn't have already figured that out and gone, yeah, okay, we're in an Arctic environment, let's have some camouflage, improves our chances of survival.
Sounds good. So you want to take a look at that at some point,
All this can be set up as alternate skins though anyway, so if we change our mind that biggie, we just use the normal ones, and we can test how it looks, and if black soldiers in a white landscape looks ridiculous or not, and how all this stuff looks, because it can all be set up with skin groups, so it's easy enough to test and all that.
It should be separate models and not skin groups, just because the Combine used skin group 1 for the shotgunner.
Oh yeah, they do, don't they?
I just set up the skin as skin group 2 then.
No, because then what's shotgunner for the Arctic camo?
Good point. Right.
So like the way the
so I should have a separate Combine soldier.
Or a separate model.
Yeah, the separate Combine soldier with the default skin being the normal Arctic soldier, and then a secondary skin like an Arctic shotgun soldier.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, okay. It's still easy enough to do anyway. It's just
Even if the only difference is the eyes, I think it should just stay consistent. Because like the Nova Prospect shotgunners are the same skin, just with red eyes.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I didn't really think about that. Yeah, I agree.
And I can add more options in Hammer to the dropdown. It's just an FGD change, so it's really simple to add however many different Combine models you want. I did that before for some mapping challenges, actually. I had an Arctic Combine soldier that I would select for certain maps.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So what else we're going to talk about? Let's have a look. So that was basically a tangent from the discussion about the APC stuff. It's just a technicality that we're going to have a look at some point. Something that we need to do as well is the 357 pickup sequence, because I'm going to be getting back to work on that this week, along with that sequence that goes along with that. So that would be cool if we could get that sorted.
Oh, right, for that you need the reconstructed revolver, really, don't you?
Yeah, I think so, because
I can
then
get that done in like a day or two, because I already have a reconstructed revolver. I just need to fiddle with it.
that's cool.
And improve it a bit, because it's a bit clunky. But that's fine, I've already got that. I can get that for you in the next couple of days.
Because once you've done that, if you pass that to Sprite, and then we can think about getting the animation done for that, and then Trivia will have to do a line for it, and then we'll have to figure out how we're going to fire the animation when we pick the weapon up for the first time.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, is the revolver going to look different than it did before? I was sort of under the impression it would be a different model, but I don't really know.
I think it's... Go on, Trivia.
I'm just saying it's probably just going to be an improved looking version of the standard Half-Life 2 revolver.
That makes sense.
So you mean just like with a better texture, or do you mean like combinified like the pulse pistol?
No, just better looking texture. Maybe the model's a bit higher res.
That's fine.
I
I
mean,
can handle all that, so that's cool.
I mean, in the little alpha teaser I did, the revolver that you see coming out the darkness is actually a HD rework from the SFM workshop, which basically just makes the standard Python look really nice.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing some crazy stuff with the view model, like pointing it. When he picks up the gun for the first time, he's going to look down the barrel and pull the trigger. You know, is this thing loaded? So we need the full view model constructed for that, which is obviously what Kralik's going to do for us. It's just the animation we'll need to do for that, and then figuring out how we fire that animation when we first pick up the gun. So yeah, I mean, we've got to do that. Then I've got to finish off the sequence after that, which we can't talk about on stream, and then we're into the next bit, which we can't talk about on stream either. So we'll leave that out for now. In terms of mapping this week, I basically went back and reconfigured the dream sequence to sort of tell a little bit of a different story. It's been really difficult. Source has not been cooperating with me. It's been difficult orchestrating NPCs and models and view controls, and it just got a bit hairy. But I think I've finished with something that I'm happy to continue with for now today. So all we need to do with that is probably refine it and tweak it when it comes to detail pass. The other thing I did, which you'll notice when you play, guys, I've stitched chapter 1 and 2 together properly now, so you can just play the game, which is cool.
Ah, sweet.
So you can start at the beginning and go all the way through. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. I'll obviously as well, along with the new testbed, which I'll show off in a minute with all the dynamic responses and stuff.
I'm excited for the new testbed demo. I really like the new testbed, and just lots of new stuff to show.
Yeah, I've got lots planned for it as well. I've got a whole... I want to put in a Zen Relay testing bit with sort of like different rooms with different props in, so you can spawn one of each of the enemies from absorbing the mass from each room. I'm going to need to put in...
Good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to put in an APC bit at some point. There's going to be a bit in there for the new character. There's going to be a bit in there for the new enemy. So, yeah, it's going to be cool. That reminds me of something. SLAM implementation. It's not a big deal. How feasible is that? Because I chucked the models in the build, I think, 2 weeks ago or a week ago.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't quite finish that yet. That's something that actually, just by coincidence, MapBase implemented very recently, so I know it's totally feasible.
Oh, that's cool.
I just haven't, I ran into some issues trying to set it up, and then I got kind of distracted working on the other stuff I've been doing.
It's all
So
good.
there's some unfinished source files in my local repository that just aren't committed yet that I'm working on. So yeah, very feasible. Should be in the near future.
That's cool because the slam is something that I want to give players sort of from the start, and something that they can just play with, a bit like satchels in Half-Life 1. It just gives us an extra thing to play around with, I think, and we could probably set up defenses at the end of Chapter 1 with them and stuff. Yeah.
I noticed that you used a slam in like a slam prop.
I
at the end
did.
of Chapter 1.
But the
That
text
was
just
really
broke.
cool.
Yeah, it's the texture's broken now, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
But
Other than that,
yeah, sort of the plan would be to have slams in that area. I kind of wanted it to be so that the player prepared and then sort of initiated the pickup, so that we could sort of trap the area with slams and stuff. See how it goes.
Yeah. I was thinking with the slams too, because in Half-Life 2, the Combine used different looking slams, and it's all just like brushwork based. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they use like a button
It's just
texture.
the dev button.
Yeah. I was thinking we could probably like make a new model for the slam to kind of not look as crusty as that, but like not, because at the moment the slam kind of looks like something the rebels would use. It's all green and stuff. I was thinking
Yeah,
we
it's
could,
very
like,
military,
maybe change
isn't
that
it?
up a bit.
it
Yeah.
kind of matches the frag grenade. So I don't have a problem with it, but a new model would be great.
It's just military ordnance, isn't it, that they've found and they're just utilizing. But yeah. I mean, if we've got the time to do it and we can do it, yeah, I'm happy for that to happen.
Yeah.
Don't think it animates, does it? Apart from the view model, obviously, it's just a thing that snips on a wall.
Yeah.
Clips on a wall. So I think the last thing that I'll do tonight then is show off the new testbed and sort of have a walk around it and explain some stuff.
That sounds great.
I'm just setting it up with OBS at the minute.
In the meantime, I guess I'll just point out that I'll be doing the shotgun shoulder this week, the soldier this week as well. I keep pushing that back, but I'm going to do that this week. I will drop the SMG2 stuff I did in here in a bit after the meeting, and then I will go back to fixing up the revolver, and then I'll do the shotgun ripple.
That sounds good.
Cool. For the slam, were we talking about the world model being bad or the view model being bad? Because if the world model's bad, easy fix. I fix the view model, and we use that instead. If you were talking about the view model being bad, then that would require a bit more tinkering.
Yeah, I think CW was suggesting we do a whole new model for it altogether. I mean,
Okay.
I'm happy.
So like Combine themed, or?
Yeah, I guess we could do something like that. I mean, I'm happy if you're happy to do the work. I'm happy for that to happen. Yeah.
I think I just need to figure that out a bit more with people, like I did with the pulse pistol, and kind of, yeah.
We can have a chat about it. See
I
what
reckon it's doable.
ideas we have.
I just gotta have ideas.
What if we could use the slams as a door breaching tool?
Oh, that sounds
Like
dirty.
blowing open doors. That sounds cool.
That's
Now there's
sexy.
Now there's more ways to
Soldiers
get
have
through that door.
points. You plant down a slam. And then wait.
You could detonate it and blow off a door. You could use it for like bonus areas, maybe like a locked door you can't get through normally, or you blow it off and then you go in and there's like a supply cache or something.
Could use it for secrets and stuff. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and you could display it to the player by like they get it and maybe like, there's like a locked door or something, and so bad cop says, maybe I can use this to blow through the door.
Yeah.
Then the player blows through the door, and then he goes, I will use that to blow through doors.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
A bit of player training there, nice and subtle.
Nice and subtle, and then the player will just probably use it on every locked door, which would be a problem.
We could use a skin, couldn't we? We could skin a door with some sort of like broken cracks in it or something to sort of imply that you can blow it up. It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
This door looks damaged. I should blow it up. Every time he walks past a damaged door, that one looks like it can be blown up.
I can't remember. Is there a way to make rotating doors breakable? Or I guess you don't need it to rotate because it's just gonna. Oh, that's my bad.
I
Never
was
mind.
thinking it'd be cool. I was thinking it'd be cool if like you put it on and instead of it actually just breaking, like doing the generic wood gibbs, if it like went flying back off its hinges.
Kills the rebels.
You
standing
could do
behind.
that with a physics explosion and a physics prop, because I've done that in the past. But the way I've done it is in Hammer, you put down the real door, and then you put a funk breakable in front of it. You say that when the breakable breaks, it kills the door and then enables the prop door and then fires the explosion. It does it in under a second, and that gives you the illusion of you blowing the door off its hinges, which is cool. So we could do
Nice.
that.
Hmm.
It's pretty standard stuff in terms of source.
And then there could just be some kind of input or output system that's like with this particular. Oh wait, no, actually no, because you could have Isn't there a tag for funk breakables to only be broken by explosives or something?
You can only break by trigger, but there is a secret thing that I learned years ago, and that's if you have a funk breakable and you texture it with the invisible texture, bullets won't do anything to it. You can only break it with explosives. So I would do that.
Yeah, you go.
Oh,
It's magic. I don't know why it works, but it does. It's really
I wish
weird.
I knew that. There's so many maps I did for mapping challenges that could have used that.
Yeah, I mean that was something I found years ago. Haven't ever used it in any sort of functional way, I don't think. But yeah, so there you go, a little voodoo magic of source there for you.
Just on the comment of doors that you don't want the player to be able to blow up, maybe instead of having a specific look for doors that can be blown up, because I imagine most of the doors in the level you would be able to open and or blow up if you wanted to. It'd probably be easier to give doors that aren't blow upable like a special thing going about them, whether they look reinforced or they have a different skin or something like that. Because I think you should be able to blow up any door you like, except the ones that obviously close you off to the void.
That was the thing I was going to ask about. Is I think it would require a few changes to make regular doors destructible. I don't think they are right now. I could be totally wrong.
Currently, you can't blow up a prop
Right.
door rotating. Or it doesn't accept damage input. And if it did, it would probably just break into standard wood gibs or something like that, because there's no gibs for prop doors. You could take a page out of the Left 4 Dead book, I guess, but then I don't know if they've just got a prop physics that they're hinging on or attaching to a brush door to achieve that.
Thing is, I've seen a similar effect done purely through Lua code in Gary's mod, because I've forgotten if it's in Clockwork or something like that, you can actually kick doors in and they will fall off their hinges, and it's completely nothing to do with Hammer. It's all done through code. You can kick a door down and it will take the door, the prop rotating door, and it will just kick it down.
To me, it sounds like they're ent swapping. So they're swapping the prop door rotating for a prop physics and just inheriting the angles and sort of just instantiating the same model and skin. I'd have to look at the LUA though to tell you that. It's cool. We should talk about it more. I think it would be cool to be able to breach doors using slams. I think.
Or as you said, it could just be particular doors, and there'll be like maybe a prompt, or well, not a prompt, but a hint that says, you can place a slam down and it'll blow up the door.
Yeah.
Shall we get started on the test bed then?
Yeah.
I haven't got that long tonight because it's obviously Sunday, so I'm probably gonna have to turn Discord to mic free. Hang on. There we go. Can you guys hear me all right still?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, here we go. So this is our nice new test bed. I've got some fancy things in here. I'll just show off the new pistol. So this is our new pistol that Kralik made for us. This is the pulse pistol. It's quite nice, really. It's kind of cool just to see it floating here. You can sort of just check it out. It's good stuff. So yeah, I'll leave you with that.
Oh, that's cool.
Have you not seen it yet, CW?
I haven't seen the testbed map.
Testbed map is cool, man. It's where it's at. Yeah. So
I like the trigger guard. I've never really looked at the pistol that closely before. That's a really
Let's have-
nice model.
let's have a look. It's lovely. I love it. It's cool. I like the trigger on it. I was going to say, it just looks super cool. I was going to show off the antlion. I kind of spiced it up a bit in Hammer by giving it a bit of a glow, because I noticed that I put this on Trello, by the way, earlier on. The antlions in episode 2 have sprites embedded in them, I think. So we might have to look at doing that to get that glow. I thought it was done with HDR and rim lighting, but it doesn't appear to be the case. So
Yeah,
Makes
I thought the same thing. I had no idea that they were just attaching a sprite to the NPC. I feel like I should have noticed that sooner. But yeah, that's totally something we can do with the regular antlions. I will want to make sure that antlions that are spawned from Zen behave differently. But that's something we can handle.
oh yeah, that's a really good point actually, because they'll be they're kind of like natural to Zen. It'll be a different sort of cycle for them, I guess.
I think either the Zen antlions should use the normal skin, and I think that's what how I plan on implementing them at first. Or
Yeah.
we could make them glow green instead of orange, but either way.
We can have a play around. I mean, because they're from Zen, I guess we've got a bit of freedom with how we do it. They could,
It's easy
you
enough
know-
to make an alternate skin with a green back instead. So
Exactly.
and if we wanted to have like a sprite for each one, and like that, and if that wasn't modifiable on a skin by skin basis, just make a separate model. So
It's a cool idea. So this. Sorry, I was gonna continue here. So this bit here, I'm just gonna walk past that weird twitching Combine Elite. I'm just gonna walk past that. I'm not gonna talk about that in a minute. So let's pick these guys up. Now, did I put in the latest build the commands for you guys? Have you guys used the commands yet with the actual voice lines, or do they still use the?
Yeah, I have, and it worked.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know if I'd send that across or not. So basically, when we send soldiers now, you can tell them to go, which is super cool. This is our sort of like our pathing test bed. We've got a few niggles at the minute with stairs, and I think that's one up. Did you say that that's because of the way that they stack around the player?
Yeah, it's because of their follow pattern, I believe. I have them set to a medium follow pattern so they don't go exactly to where you point them. I think now with using waypoints in the maps, it would be smarter for us to have them have a much tighter follow pattern where they will go exactly where you tell them, and then they'll find the nearest waypoint. So that'll be a lot smoother than it is in the Testbed right now.
That's cool, because I think that was one of the main issues. I think was with the was going upstairs and stuff. In chapter 2, that's like a prolific thing.
Right.
I
think it'll be a lot more natural once we turn it back to the way the Citizen has it, because the Citizens have a much tighter follow pattern, and yeah, it won't be an issue.
So obviously we've been playing with waypoints. I'll show that off in a minute. Just an example of a dynamic interaction for a bad cop. When we pick up the AR2 now, he comments on it, which is super cool. And you know, I haven't done anything in Hammer to make that work. It kind of just does it. I was going to go all Todd Howard then. It just works.
And the cool thing about that is that's a context that you can, in your script file, you can add them for any weapon. And
Oh,
you can
that's
even
super
limit it to particular maps. So you could say, well, this weapon is picked up in 2 different maps, so there's going to be one line for one map and one for the other. Or you could do it by sequence. You could say, like, the first time he picks up this weapon, he'll say this line, but if he picks up the same weapon again, he'll use a different line. It's very flexible.
It's really cool. Maybe we should do something for the pistol when he first acquires the pistol, because it's kind of new. What the hell? Wow, that's bizarre. I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know why they did that.
I think they're trying to shoot at some rebels, but I don't know.
they're going rogue.
That scared the crap out of me. They just
Shut it
went
down.
ape. Okay, that's bizarre. Let's continue with the presentation before they go crazy.
You made them too smart.
We've given them too much smarts. They're shooting the walls. So waypoints are really cool. What the? Jesus Christ! Did you see that? Holy crap! He came out of
No.
nowhere.
Oh,
What?
they opened the door. They heard you. So.
They heard us.
Oh, wait a
Oh,
second. Did I do that? I might have. No, I didn't. No, okay, never mind. I was gonna say I wanted to ask you about putting in some code to make NPCs investigate sounds, but I haven't done that yet. So
yeah.
I
Go
don't know
ahead,
why they
because
started
I mean
following you.
that was a great moment for me. So yeah, go for
He wanted,
it.
he wanted to join the squad.
He wanted to join the squad, and he's just yeah. Oh my god. So
He gave up on the resistance.
He might have been trying to get weapons. 'Cause they will
oh,
pick
that's
up
true
weapons
because
if
they're a
you have
weapon.
them.
Yeah. So we've been sort of playing with waypoints, which give our followers some interesting. I don't know how to say it. It makes them do cool things. So if I tell these guys to stack up on the door, they'll stack up on the door like that, which is kind of cool. We can tell them to go and crouch behind a thingy, for example, like that. Crouch behind the cover, or go and stand over there on the pillars. You get the idea. Oh god, look at that! They're fighting now. Get over there. That's it. That's it. There he goes. So it's really cool. I think we're going to put these all over the maps and stuff to sort of give the soldiers a less sort of robotic feel about them. This was sort of credit to Blix for pointing this out to us, because I was unaware that we could do this so easily using hint nodes. That's all it is. It's just hints, isn't it? So it's cool.
Yeah, I do think we should take a minute to give some credit to Blixabon, because not
Absolutely.
only did he point it out to us, but he presented us with lots of information about how to implement them, and he came up with the idea of using the response system. Actually, he sort of walked me through the entire process of implementing the response system, and we basically pair programmed it over Discord. So really, he should take all the credit for that addition.
Absolutely. I just think it's invaluable advice that he's given us for this project. I never knew about hint wait nodes, push away nodes, and stuff like that. Push away nodes, I can show them off here. No more getting stuck in doorways with your soldiers. They'll just get the fuck out of the way. See, it's really nice. It's so much smoother than getting stuck. And I've noticed already in chapter 1, I've been stuck properly at one point, and I need to go back and add the nodes in there because it will just make life so much easier. They just get out of your way. It's brilliant.
I haven't actually seen this testbed map yet, because I only got the newest build like about half an hour before the meeting, so that I could do the MP5K and be on the most recent thing. And like when we discussed Republic Commando 2, Republic Commando even, not 2, just the first one. Shame there's not a second one.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't really like. I kind of was just kind of spitballing, right? And I didn't think we'd actually be able to do something like this. The way that you point at the door and they stack up, or you point at the cover and they take cover, is actually like so good.
It feels great.
It is gonna be really cool. It makes the combat. It makes the whole thing actually feel like a good squad. I'm actually probably going to end up giving a crap about my random combine soldiers now, because it's like I can make them do all this cool stuff, whereas before I would have just been like, oh, it's whatever, I'll just let them go first, they die. But like,
I like how it's all sort of like, it feels natural. There is a place for games that have like, you make like in Republic Commando, you're very specifically telling them to do certain actions, and that's good for Republic Commando. But I feel like for Entropy 0, it's a lot better to have the soldiers just sort of naturally know what to do. Like, you're not telling them specifically to take cover, you're just telling them to go near the cover, and then they know how to do it.
I agree.
I feel like that just works really well for this game. I do want to ask a quick favor. Could you go into the console and type SV visible command points 1?
Oh yes, I wanted to do this. So when I place a command point now, it should show me. Oh yeah, see, that's super cool.
Okay, good.
The only thing we need is for it to disappear once the command has been completed. And of course, replacing it with something better.
maybe like
I feel
maybe like a little mini flag icon or something. Like, do you know the kind of symbols that you use to communicate with whatever pleb you were playing Portal 2 online with?
Yeah.
You know, those kind of little things. One of those seems like it would work quite well for this.
Well, these are just sprites, for example. Is that just a model one-up that you're that you're just...
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a model from Hammer actually. I didn't
Yeah.
know what model to use. We really need to just come up with our own model for it or a sprite. This is just a placeholder. I do want to say that the reason the marker persists after the soldiers are already there is it's an accurate representation of the order because the soldiers
They're still
they'll
being...
still stay near that point
Yeah.
until you issue a different order. They're not like done with it. They don't go on and do something else. They will continue to linger around that point until you either move the point or tell them to go back to you.
I'm taking
So
point.
I think it accurately represents the way that the soldiers are thinking about the order.
Do they
You gotta-
jump across that gap?
I've never tried to get them to jump across. I can try. Let's try right now.
They can or not, because they can jump down.
They
right?
can jump down.
Back to me.
So you're doing the jump down with jump nodes, right?
That's
Override jump
that's right. We're
permission.
just overriding the jump permission. Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, I was thinking about jump nodes recently, working on a little map just for fun. There might be a way to give them jump permissions within a certain distance, even if there are no jump permission nodes.
I think
That's something I was thinking
that's
about.
really cool. That's a cool idea. I like that idea because I think
I don't know how well it would work, but that was just a thought that I had. I still have to talk to Blixabon about it, but this just reminded me of that because I think it would make them a lot more dynamic.
I think that's how. I don't know if you played S-Mod ages ago. They had a variant of the Elite, and he would jump up as well as down, and he would jump everywhere, and he was really fun to fight. And I'm sure I was reading about this is like going back years now. It was on Face Punch, and there was something in there about the override jump permission, and I'm sure it was something similar to what you were saying, sort of just giving them permission to jump pretty much wherever they want to. I think it would be cool to try out.
Permission to jump, sir.
Permission to jump. I'm going to try killing these rebels for a bit of fun before we wrap up tonight. Oh, shit.
So you can see that Bad Cop has voice lines depending on, like if he kills an enemy, for example, there's a voice line there.
Yeah, and that's not done through Hammer anymore. That's like reactive. It's really cool. I don't have to
Nice box you
do
have
anything.
there.
Yeah, did you see the box? It was good, wasn't it? That's a new
It's good.
feature that we're not talking about
It's
yet.
Zen magic.
Zen magic. It's just
Exactly.
it's
The same
haunted
stuff that keeps the
testbed.
NPC safe.
So yeah, I guess I should have mentioned, like, obviously there were already voice lines in the game for when there were rebels, but those were all scripted as part of the map. These are totally unscripted, no Hammer. And it does depend on what type of enemy you kill. Like there's separate taunts for zombies and rebels and antlions. And there's also a pool of taunts that can apply to any of them.
Does he do the zombie taunts? He should do, shouldn't he?
Yep.
So if I spawn in the zombie, we'll give it a try.
Yep.
Let me just tell these guys.
In game yet.
Let's tell these guys to go away.
There's also, I didn't have any lines for, I don't know if they've been recorded yet or not, but there's a concept for when your squad mates die, then Bad Cop can say something. And there's actually a separate concept for, or a separate, like, rule, I guess, for when you kill your squad mates. So you could have separate taunts.
Oh yeah, I
when,
swear that
when you kill your
works.
squad mates.
I swear that works, because I shot one in the face earlier and he said like worthless or something. Hang on. Yeah, there you go.
I think the
Worthless.
stream is a little bit behind our audio.
Oh yes, it probably will be. Yeah. But yeah, so when I'm shooting them at the minute, he was commenting on those last two. Oh, I feel sad now because they're dead. But yeah, it's
Try another zombie, because I think the last zombie did a generic line.
he did a generic.
It's sort of random, and we can adjust it to make it less random. Whether to use a generic line or a NPC class specific line, but you should be able to hear them say the zombie lines.
Yes, yeah, he just did one. It's brilliant.
Have you put the hit lines in? So if you get hit by a zombie, says the thing.
Not yet. We might need to make some code changes to make that work, but that's definitely something that I've been thinking about a lot. So like depending on what type of damage Bad Cop receives, he should have different lines. Like he should use the lines you recorded for electricity damage whenever he gets shocked, not just on the one map. But
Oh,
yeah,
yes, yeah.
that's not done yet, but it's in the works.
I've pretty much I think I've covered every single type of damage you can take in the game. If I've missed any, let me know.
I think that's awesome. I can't wait to get them in, like the full damage and stuff. It would just add so much flavour to it.
There is like with the full damage, there is like a line like my leg, and then there's another one that's like my other leg, and I'm wondering if there's a way to make it so that the other
Yeah,
one
that's a
doesn't
great
have the
idea.
first one.
Have
We
it
can
like
make them
line
play
up.
in sequence.
Yes.
Oh, my other leg. Oh.
I was also gonna say, if it gets to the point where we feel like the lines get recycled too much, we can set the lines to never repeat certain responses. So like we could only use each of the zombie lines once if we wanted it to be that way, or we could have them repeat it. It's totally up to what's in the script
I
file.
remember having a very long conversation about this ages ago, and I can't remember what I said now about what like maybe the best way of doing it would be. If I'm not sure if we can remember, because we did talk about it ages ago about having these responses and stuff, and how to make it so that the player doesn't hear them like over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I go on, one up. I'll let you.
Oh, I was just gonna comment on the weapon that you just picked up.
Yeah, I'm just.
I don't want to derail the conversation though.
It's fine.
But yeah, this is still kind of broken. We were talking about it before the stream started. I haven't modified it at all from the state that I found it in the Source SDK 2013 code, so it's just leftover code from Valve. It's going to need a lot of rework before it's what we want it to be. But I wanted to play around with it a lot before we decided on what it should be, because that code is out there, you know, just thought I would use it. You can see it has a select fire, but I think the select fire is a little bit redundant. We probably only want it to have one firing mode. But it's, you know, it's there to play around with. So
Also-
for those watching, that was the MP5K. Right now it's using the same model as the submachine gun, but it will be the MP5K.
Yeah, that's the plan. I'll try giving it to myself again. Oops.
Oh, it uses pistol ammo. Sorry.
Oh,
about
that
since
explains
there's
it.
No pistol anymore.
I couldn't figure out what. That's a good point. There's no pistol ammo, is there?
I thought it might be using the same type of ammo. Like, are they both 9mm or something? I'm sorry, I don't know anything about guns.
That's fine. No, that works, because that means you don't have to go through and recode a whole load more of pistol ammo, you know?
Yeah, and I thought we could use the prop for the pistol ammo box, and it looks different from the submachine gun
Yeah.
ammo box.
So that'll just determine that this is this kind of gun. I just want to just mention, yeah, the zombies will be made blue again. That's a decision we made a while ago. That's why you got the blue pool underneath them.
Do we still want the blue pool to like have a shifting texture?
Yeah, I want to try and do something like that.
Because that's easy enough to do in the VMT. It's just the kind of effect would need to be fiddled with. Because I've only used like a texture that kind of like tiles, so like for flowing water and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's probably some kind of settings you can set up for something proper. So yeah.
That's a cool idea. I mean, I thought about having like a refract scroll on it, but then I don't know if that would.
I think it's probably possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying I've only got experience with tiling, but there's probably some other kind of thing there.
We'll have to have a look at it and see, because just something like that to make it a bit more snazzier than it is. Yeah. So I think we've pretty much covered everything that we can talk about. I'm going to start working on the next map in Chapter 2 this week, hopefully, which kind of means we're getting into territory with the streams with stuff that we can't really talk about. I don't know how we're going to deal with it yet. Haven't really thought about it.
I mean, that could just be turned into a mapping stream. Like
maybe I could just be building it whilst we're chatting and stuff. Yeah.
I'll probably have more code changes to talk about.
That's
too.
true.
Like, I was
mean,
just thinking about, hey, wait a second, why don't we change the talker files for the rebels to say like combine when they see the player and stuff like that? I don't think any changes like that have been made yet.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. What about a Q&A?
Yes, we need to do a Q&A before I disappear.
Yep. And then at the end of the Q&A, do you want to play us out with the teaser again?
Yeah, I can get the teaser to play again. We could do that. Right, I'll turn off Testbed.
Hit us with the questions, yo.
Hit us with the mad cues. I don't know what all the kids say these days. Getting old.
Also, Brett, I'm not sure if you've seen, but we were having like a debate, like a pretty heated debate about whether bad cops should have the padded armor and stuff.
Oh, to be honest, I haven't had time to look yet. I need to go through all of the channel.
Yeah, I just quickly bunged together some posters in SFM with the padded armor just to try and maybe give an idea of what it looks like in like some situations and stuff. You can take a look through those as well. I'm not sure whether it's worth showing them to the public and being like, what do you think? Do you think it looks dumb?
We could show them off. We could show them off to the public. I could put them in like the next blog or something like that. We could put it to a poll.
It was a really interesting debate because I completely changed my mind halfway through.
So what you?
Yeah, I don't know.
What was the outcome of the debate? Do we
There
reckon?
still isn't one really.
Oh my god!
At least as far as my arguments were concerned, I wanted to make Bad Cop look different from other elites because I figured in the story he's being presented as sort of a different type of entity from elites. But the more I got to thinking about that, I think it's better to sort of leave that ambiguous. Like, is he really different from other elites? How to what degree do most elites have faculties? Do they all have no faculties? Do some of them have some faculties? Are there more like him? I think if we leave it ambiguous, there's a lot of questions that people can kind of explore and answer on their own.
I agree. I think having that sort of ambiguity, it's sort of. If we're explaining things flat out, and we say, for example, yes, there are other cops like him, or no, whatever, that sort of breaks that illusion of depth you get with the narrative. So I think it's cool to leave something like that ambiguous. I would agree on that point, definitely.
The other thing I thought of that after, because I was the first one who said like we need to change his appearance, it's very important. But then I started thinking about it and I realized he might be the same elite that we see on the monitor in episode 1.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
that alone isn't a good enough reason by itself to not change his appearance, but I think it would help create familiarity with players because they might jump to that conclusion more quickly if he looks the same. I could still go either way, like there's arguments to be made on both sides, but like I don't know, it's just interesting to me. I'm curious to see how it will end up being.
And then I said the workaround that is if he doesn't get the armor padding until after, so it's like almost like an end game thing where you get a massive buff to your armor because you find this padded armor or some shit and you put it on.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, from a writing narrative lore nerd perspective, I think it would just be plain old elite armor because the Combine are sort of panicking at that point and they're sort of saying, shit, quickly get somebody who knows what they're doing out there, which is why they sort of mass clone Bad Cop and try and get him sort of out there. But then again, I'm open to having him thick.
Yeah, take a look at the posters I made. I think I quite like the last one because I just like the pose that I got him in. Just like, come at me, bro.
I think we should look at the poster that I made.
I'm just scrolling up. I'll find them. When was this? When did you post these? Was this like?
I can't remember, man. I could just post them again.
Oh yeah, I see one-ups. Holy shit. He would be a bullet sponge. Oh yeah, I see. Look at those flared knee pads, man. He could garden all fucking night in them, like, and skate.
You can tell Breadman's a dad.
Mad, yeah.
Man, I need some knee pads for my garden.
I could kneel down in the fucking rose bush with them.
My dad is exactly the same. He's all about his garden.
Sorry, we better answer more questions.
Yep, I'll start reading out some questions.
Let's do the Q&A and wrap up. Hang on, did you post some of those pictures?
Oh, I thought you saw them. Hang on.
I was just going to say, if you post some, I'll try and chuck them on the stream quickly and rotate them. Carousel styley.
Okay, so questions. Let's have a look. Right, this is more of a joke question, but Galaga Marine asks, is the game going to end with Bad Cop smoking a cigarette and getting frunk? It could be a
Uh,
thanks for playing screen, I suppose, like at the end of the credits.
we could
you
do
just
it. I want to do something at the end of the
Secret ending?
credits, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. So there could be something. I don't know if you'd be getting frunk though.
Secret
Is it
ending, perhaps, if you get all the achievements in the game.
It makes me think of, at the end of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, there's like the little picture at the end of the squad being all
Yeah,
like,
you could.
"Ugh."
Yeah, you could have
It could be like that.
a squad picture. I was thinking about maybe doing something with backup and the new character after the credits, but then only if you managed to carry the new character all the way to the end. That was my thinking. But
Yeah, there is that.
I'm sure we could do something.
Like a photograph of Bad Cop with some Combine soldiers, and he's all like, "Hey," and they're just like completely stoic.
One thing I will say about Entropy 02 is we're not holding back with the dark humor. There's like loads of it already in there. So yeah, we could do something quite humorous. I think. There you go. I've got Frumpy Cop up on the stream now.
Nice. Right.
I gotta find.
Huey Long. Sorry, I'm gonna just dive into the comments.
Just go for it.
So Huey Long asks, "Are Combine allies optional, or do they have to come with me?"
The
Totally
whole
optional.
yeah, it's complete. Think Half-Life 1. That was what we were going for with that. So you get to choose if you want to take them with you or not. You're probably going to pass soldiers in corridors and stuff like you would find Barneys and stuff in Half-Life 1, and you can kill them, you can ignore them, you do what you like, really.
Yeah, even if you do add them to your squad and then you decide, actually, I don't want them anymore, you can just press E on them again and it will remove them from your squad, so you can ditch them at any time.
You can even set them up to guard. Like if you can leave them in an area and like remove them from your squad, and then they won't follow you and they won't you won't be able to issue commands to them anymore.
Yeah, it's a cool idea to sort of like cover your back or something.
Exactly. And there will be voice lines with that as well. Adding people to your squad and removing them from your squad will have Bad Cops say a unique thing as well for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we need to do
add in the code for that. But yeah, absolutely.
Okay, someone asked, will the Hydra make a comeback? No,
that it would be too cliche because everybody wants to do the Hydra, and the second thing is there's just technicalities involved in that so I think about it, I'm just like, if Valve couldn't do it, I don't think we're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I've seen some work in another mod where somebody's redoing the Hydra, and it is a shitload of work.
It's just, and even then, well, I say Valve couldn't do it. Valve did do it. That was the wrong thing to say. They did do it, and they found that it was boring to fight because of the way it sort of, I don't know, ham-fistedly sort of tries to swipe you. It looks cool. It would be good for scripted sequences, but I can't.
It was
see
like
it.
unfairly killing the player because it didn't show its attack enough, and
That's
because
right.
it was so powerful, it would just spear you in one go, and that was it, dead. So, yeah.
Right, Nimbus Storm asks, will Aperture's presence be noticeable in Entropy 02 technology?
Yes! That's all I'm saying. Yes.
Yep, that's it. That's all you're getting. AKA Jacob asks, is there any roles on the team you're looking for? So are we hiring currently?
I don't think we're hiring currently, but I don't know. Go on, what were you going to say?
I hate the word hiring.
No, there's no paid
I'm
positions here.
volunteering.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I genuinely enjoy it. I don't know.
Whoa, you're the only one not getting paid. What?
Wait, what?
Shit! You weren't supposed to tell him.
Just broke the NDA.
Yeah, yep. Somebody's going to court.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
But no, I don't think we're looking for anybody on the team at the moment, are we?
No, I don't think so at the minute. It's kind of difficult. I think I'd never really pictured myself working with a mod team, and now that I'm in one, I want to keep it sort of small because I think there's some good synergy between us at the minute. I see all these other mod teams out there, they've got like 50 fucking members and it's just chaos. But I think we got to keep it tight, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never thought I would join a mod team. I don't really know like why I did that or how that happened, but I'm so glad. Like, I feel like I'm able to accomplish so much more working on Entropy Zero than I am working on my own maps or mods. Because my skill set is pretty limited, but I can contribute to this project, and everyone else sort of does what they do best, what they enjoy. And there's all this synergy just from people coming together and working on a project that they enjoy and want to see completed.
Yes, yeah. It's yeah, I mean I think after going through the process by myself pretty much the first time, I needed to build on that previous experience. So I kind of need to have a team this time. But sort of on the flip side of that, I've seen so many mod teams over the years crumble because of, I don't know, having teams. And the more successful ones seem to be either made by one person or just a few people. So I think we just keep it as small and sort of tight together as we can for now. If we need to expand, then we'll make a public announcement about it and put out that poster that Trippy did again. I didn't say hire. No,
I do think I've noticed we get into debates, like heated debates a lot in the developer chats, but they always feel like they're productive debates. Like a lot of us have strong opinions because we like the project so much and we want to play it so much. But it seems like we always come out of those debates with like something gained, like we learned something by arguing about it.
And
so I really like just the synergy between the different developers.
I think the other thing that I completely respect with you guys as well is the fact that we have these heated debates, and then about 2 seconds later we'll just joke around, and it's not like there's any hard feelings. We're all on the same page. It's a project, like you said, that we're interested in. I've been a part of and seen some debates ages ago. One of them was on the source mods community on Discord, and they hate each other, man. Like they want to kill each other, some of these people. And I just like, Jesus Christ, man, it's just a video game, calm down. So it's great that we can have these heated debates and sort of come away from them and still remember that we're still a team. It's cool, it's just a fucking game, who cares? It's good. It's a good environment.
Yep. All right, DV9983 asks, what is the general difficulty of the game going to be?
So somewhere in between Half-Life 2 and Entropy Zero, I think, is what I'm aiming for. Not as hard as Entropy Zero, because I think Entropy Zero was a bit unforgiving at times. There were some times where it felt unfair. We're doing different things now, so the player has more armor. Armor's going to mitigate more damage. Things like that will sort of help you. Obviously, you've got squad mates now, which pick off rebels pretty quickly if you let them. So there's all of these sort of things to help you. I think if players are looking for an Entropy Zero experience again, all you have to do is don't touch the armor and don't bring any squad mates with you, and then it sort of gets quite difficult. I've tried it.
I think it's a very tactical game. There's so many options presented to the player, and you need to think about what you're doing to succeed. But I do feel like it's more balanced than Entropy Zero.
Definitely. I agree. I think options is something we wanted to give to the player as well. Options in terms of approach to combat, and when you've got a squad with you, like in the Chapter 2 map indoors, that's like really cool. That's sort of like the first place I've been really testing the squad stuff, and just sending them into different areas whilst fighting the rebels to find easier ways sort of through them and round them and stuff. It's good fun to sort of replay.
So yeah, it's still going to be hard. It's just more fair, I suppose, because a lot of the difficulty in Entropy Zero was from bullshit, I suppose I'd call it. So in this way, it's still difficult, but it's still fair. I
think if you get killed in this mod, you'll feel like it's justifiable. Not like in Entropy Zero, where the rebels would basically snipe you with an SMG, and that was due to the code that we had there at the time.
Okay, so It's Garbage Day asks, how will the hopper mines react to the player, and could it possibly be an interactable object?
I haven't really thought about hopper mines. I mean, we could implement them like that. We talked about roller mines, didn't we? But,
Yes. I imagine hopper mines would just see you as friendly, and then you can pick it up and move it if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really see why they would need to work any differently. You're a combine soldier; they're not going to react to you. You can pick them up if you want. I mean, you don't have the gravity gun to pick them up with, so
Right.
shall we make them pick up a ball with E?
maybe if that's if they, I haven't written or designed any sections yet with hopper mines in. Maybe we could do it. Maybe the combine drop a load of hopper mines. I don't know. We'd have to explain how they got there.
I mean, you were mentioning slams earlier, the standoff in chapter 1. Maybe you can give the player some hopper mines as well to set up.
Hopper mines would be cool. That would be a sorry, I'm dying. That would be a hark back to episode 2, actually, wouldn't it? That's a cool idea. So we could have like a crate of hoppers, maybe.
Yep.
What if there's like a hopper mine snark, like it's like a view model,
Oh, that would be so.
quick to put them down? I actually think pressing E to move them is a smarter idea, maybe, because then it uses the physics system. I don't really know how the hopper mines work.
Oh, wait, sorry. When you said snark, I thought you meant like it would crawl towards enemies and explode
Mines, the way the
I
legs
meant,
are
like,
just-
on the little like hopper legs. It just sort of.
and then they leap at you and go.
No, I just meant like making it like a weapon rather than a physics object. I think
Yeah.
leaving it as a physics object is probably more dynamic. I just need to look at the code and like why can they only be picked up by the gravity gun? Is there some way we can tie that into just the user interact?
What if it's like a
Just
mass
probably
thing?
yes. Just haven't spent the time on it yet. So I think it's feasible if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, we could look at that. I would have to design, hoppers.
Right.
Maybe they would be good for chapter 3 because it's kind of going to be a bit more open. I'll have to think about it.
Also, chapter 2 finale, maybe, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
You could bait the you know who into them during the final you know what.
yeah, man, that's a cool idea.
Good ideas.
You could put the you know what in the you know where.
Or put the you know what.
Yeah, there you go. You got
You
it.
know where. Right, questions. Someone asks, will Bad Cop talk with Metrocops? There aren't any in Entropy 02.
No, because by that point, City 17's gone tits up, and we're not going to be seeing any. So, unfortunately, not.
Nimbus Storm asks, Fredman, you said you did have a name for Bad Cop written up. Would you ever tell people what his real name is if they're interested?
Here's the thing. It's true. I did have a name. I can only remember the first name at the minute. I can't remember the surname.
Dave.
But the thing is, it's not. I don't feel like it's important. He's better off being a nameless entity because it's kind of, I don't know.
We had this discussion in another live stream, I'm sure, where we basically said his name could be absolutely anything. It's not going to reveal anything. It's not Adrian Shea, It's
That's
not like
right.
Gonna drop a name and then suddenly it's going to be like, oh shit, it's Morgan Freeman,
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking Eli. Oh my god, what the hell? And we did this whole back thing. Like it's all crazy.
He
Like
just takes off his helmet and he makes a weird noise.
fuck.
I feel like Bad Cop encapsulates rather all of the civil protection officers in the same way that Barney is like all of the security guards from Half-Life. Like his entire character is based on the NPC.
Yes,
And
yeah.
so like his name doesn't change that, or it doesn't have any bearing. He is the embodiment of that entire group of people that we saw in the beginning of Half-Life 2.
Yeah. I mean, I think I did. It's annoying me because I can't remember the name I figured out for him. But that's just how, it's not important to me, the name. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll name him. But it's not going to have, like Trevi said, it's not going to have any impact on the story at all. It's not going to be like this massive revelation that he's this guy that we know. It's not going to be anything like that. He is his own character within our sort of branch of the universe. He's an unknown to anyone, He's
It'll
nameless.
probably just be some random Eastern European name like Dmitry Vukorovich.
Well, he is American though, isn't he? So
actually, that's a good point to discuss. If he's American,
Yeah.
how is he in Eastern Europe?
I had
Well,
this.
just like all
How
the
is
citizens.
how are every single citizen in City 17
Yeah.
in Eastern Europe?
Well,
None
you
of them.
see,
The
I think the
only Eastern
Combine-
European you meet is like Grigori. Even Odessa Cubbage, which is like not even remotely a British name, has a really obvious English
there
accent.
is
Yes,
that.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
kind of random.
So it's like, I mean, there's clearly some kind of geographical shenanigans
Fuckery
going
going
on here.
I was
always
about to
thought that the
say-
Combine, like, they relocate people, so they must want.
They just
It's probably-
randomly
Maybe,
like
yeah.
they just randomly chipped everybody and just teleported them to a random continent.
I was
Yeah, I don't
about to
think
say
it's
random.
that
That's
anime
right.
I think
Half-Life 2 is the
they-
Russian version.
I think they've moved everyone who is near Black Mesa to City 17, because that would explain why all these Half-Life related characters are in Eastern Europe for some reason. That was just always how I figured. I don't know. We could write an email to Mars, but I don't know how much it matters.
I can.
Yeah,
I could email him if you wanted me to.
I think I
I
already
don't
know what
think
his
he likes
answer
to be
would
asked
be.
about Half-Life anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother
I
him.
prefer to leave the poor man alone. Because people did stuff like asking him, hey, so you know the gas masters in the Half-Life 2 beta, why were his eyes white? And random ass questions like that when it's like, well, the poor man is just trying to write novels. I don't know, he writes his own novels. He released one as recently as last year.
I had a great conversation with Mark through email ages ago. When I started writing Entropy 02, I sent him a pretty simple email that basically said, did the Combine already know about the Borealis? Because of Epistle 3 sort of implied that the Combine were already there. Were they, in other words, I sort of asked him, are the Combine going to be there when we get there? Or are they going to arrive with us? And he sort of politely wrote back something along the lines of, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to write my book. Just make something up.
Just leave me alone, dude. God, I'm trying to fucking write a story about fairies and shit.
He was very nice about it. He was very, very nice about it. Mark always is awesome when he replies. But I kind of got the point. It's kind of like like a bit like Bad Cop's name. It's an unimportant detail. It's not worked out. It just sort of just is. And you sort
I
of
don't
just
even
deal
think
with
it's
it.
that necessarily for him. I think it's the fact that like almost 20 years on, he's an independent novelist. He wrote books before writing Half-Life.
Yes,
He's
that's
been
true.
writing books since Half-Life. As someone who's doing a writing degree myself, it would really suck if 20 years after I wrote something and I was trying to write other things, people kept asking me random questions about this thing I wrote 20 years ago. Like, especially a thing that he hasn't really done since, because I did an interview with him for my university degree.
That's cool.
And in this interview, he basically said that he went into the games industry doing like 1 or 2 RPG games, then he did Half-Life, and he's done nothing since.
Yeah.
So it's evident that writing for games wasn't really for him
Yeah.
necessarily.
He's very much a writer, definitely.
And so in that sense, it's not even that it's like, oh, well, at least it's a novel I wrote 20 years ago. It's a medium he's not particularly fond of, that people keep questing him. He's not Mark Laidlaw, the writer. He's Mark Laidlaw, the writer of Half-Life. And I don't...
say that, but
And it's a bit like, how
recently
actors don't
voice
like being typecasted.
He is voice acting now. That is correct.
Oh, is he?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
He's
Weird.
yeah.
He definitely said in his interview that it was like he was interested at first, but he hadn't really done much since then. I don't know. I have the transcript here. I'm not going to do it. That's a distraction right now. Sorry, that's a tangent.
It's all right. Mark is very cool. I've had several sort of brief conversations through email with him about Entropy Zero. I sort of fired off questions to him about Entropy Zero. One fun little bit of trivia here. I outlined the Entropy 01 ending sequence to him. My question was, how would the advisors speak to the player? Would they speak English? Would they talk through their sort of mind and stuff like that? And he sort of said, he didn't want to give me the answers because he sort of said it would be unfair to other mod teams. So that's fine, I went ahead and did my thing, and then sort of said, what do you think to this? I sort of laid it out for him. I said, this is the writing, this is how it's going to be presented in the game, and he was kind of like, yeah, you've pretty much hit the nail on the head. So it's nice to have that feedback from him about it. And it's kind of cool when you see that sequence at the end of Entropy 01, the way that the advisors are talking to you. I would assume that's how Valve kind of imagined it, just by going from Mark's feedback that I got about that scene. It's pretty cool. He's a cool guy.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
It's a cool
I
guy.
mean, I imagine a lot of this stuff he hasn't really thought about himself.
Yeah.
So he's
Well,
probably just like,
exactly.
yeah, whatever you think it is the right answer.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of my point. It's about the whole Combine being in the north at first. His answer kind of alluded that even they didn't know, and it kind of just was, they were just sort of trying to figure that out as they went along with it. So yeah.
I better move on to another question, otherwise I'm going to be here.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I'm dying.
Right, so DV9983 asks, will the Bad Cop Navy SEAL line be used?
Yes.
It's going to be a little secret
Yes.
thing. We haven't exactly decided on how it's going to be put in, but there's going to be like a little secret area somewhere that you can access.
Yeah,
and,
I haven't figured that out yet, but yeah, absolutely, I'm going to put that in because I think it's brilliant.
I think we can tie it into the response system and make it less likely to show up than other lines.
Oh,
How
that's a
exactly
cool
we do
idea.
that?
It's
There's
way
a few
too
different
fucking
ways.
long.
Right, it'll have to be broken up into chunks almost. I don't know. We can talk about it, but there's a few different ways we might use it. I would like it if it shows up somewhere as an Easter egg. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It could be like a rebel computer that's like used to communicate within the rebel network, and then he like logs onto it or some shit, and then he types out the whole thing.
It could be a random event as well with this other character.
It could be.
Maybe he sort of insults him or says something.
And again, that won't make much sense now that I think about it, but I won't say why.
No, that's right. We need to think about where we, implement that, I think.
I'd like it to be like a little Easter egg.
An Easter egg would be the best thing. It's well hidden, you got to find it, kind of thing. That would be good. Yeah.
Let's see other questions. Oh fuck, this guy's name. I fuck it up every time. I'm gonna say it's Liam Peffer. Says, if you play something you have created, like Entropy 0, is it still fun and immersive, or does it still become code on a screen since you pieced it together yourself?
It loses a bit of the magic, I guess. I think that's part of the price of making it.
Probably you more than us, because you're the one actually making maps.
So
I was about to say that.
A great example. Go on, One Up. Go on.
No, you first.
I was going to say, great example of scenes like the dream sequence that I worked on today. When I first played it, I thought it was cool. Now I am fucking sick of it because I have been through that same scene with the same sounds, with the same lines, about 200 times today alone. And it sort of gets like that with the mapping. I kind of, I was getting really fed up with Entropy 02 when I was working on Chapter 4. I was getting so fucking sick of Chapter 4. It's just, more Combine architecture because we're inside Pillar 10, and then when I play the game, it's kind of like, oh, I remember this bit. I fucking hated building this because it was just boring and it just got on my nerves. So, yeah, it does take away the magic a bit.
I mean, quite a few of us in here are, I say, creatives, and it's the same whenever you spend a lot of time on creating something, whether it be like me, little films and stuff. Like my music video took like 3 to 4 months to make. It's more about the reactions and comments and feedback of other people watching or playing it. In your case, that's what you get out of it. You make a thing and then you put it out there, and it's getting people's feedback on it that feed you, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
This is why I love being a programmer on the project rather than a level designer. It doesn't get old for me because when I develop features for the game, I'm usually doing that in the test bed, and I just sort of repeat the same test scenarios over and over and over, and that gets a little bit old, I guess. But by the time I'm done with it and I give it off to you, and then the next build comes back and it's got the levels with the features in it, it's so much fun to actually play real levels with those features that I implemented.
I bet it is. But then again, that gives it some. I guess this time around that gives it some magic. I guess for me, because like today I had a magic moment when I was in the test bed and I picked up the AR2 and Bad Cop commented on it, and I hadn't done anything. I hadn't done anything in Hammer. He just said it, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool! Wow!" And then the bit of magic earlier on with the rebels sneaking up on me, and you know, so yeah, there's a bit more magic this time around, I think, because of those features and the sort of.
I think that's sorry.
I was just going to say, like with the systems that you're working on, things like if we do like NPCs reacting to noise and the fear thing, I think the combat and the sort of scenarios are going to be more randomized and sort of replayable, so it'll probably feel a bit better this time round.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I think that's one of the benefits of working as a team, is like sure maybe each creator will get sick of their own work, but I am so excited to see like the assets that Kraulich has made, and then the levels that Breadman has made, and then the voice lines from Trivi, and so it's like I'm not only creating for the project, but I'm consuming as well, and hopefully you
Yeah.
guys feel that way too.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like with the new pistol, for example, or CW's new sounds, the voice lines, everything, all the new view model animations, like you said, it's like we're constantly consuming sort of within the team. I think it's a good way of putting it. It's cool.
It's a little bit easier for me as a model person to not get that, because what I do isn't necessarily super gameplay intensive. It's more of an aesthetic thing. And so I don't necessarily encounter that burnout as much as a result. But at the same time, it's like I've said before that I loved Entropy 01 so much. It's probably my favorite Half-Life 2 mod I've ever played. And that's why I was like, oh man, Breadman needs people. Yes, come on, take me. And whilst here, like, it's incredible to be working with the people on this team and stuff, and you know, with the guy that made basically my favorite Half-Life 2 mod, and it's really cool to see people like at their peak, you know, kind of learning a lot as I go along. At the same time, I almost wish I hadn't, because I know that like I won't necessarily have the same magical first time reaction, but what I think I will have, and what I hope, and what I think everybody else here will have, is that we're working like incrementally. Like when we play test and we do these kind of things, I don't. For some of us, maybe we do, but what it looks like is that most of us we play level by level. We don't like play the entire game every time we play test
That's right.
something. And so when we get to the end of the development cycle, it's going to be like, right, okay, we should probably do a full game play test. And it's gonna be like, okay, well, we've played all these levels individually, but now they're all knitted together. They've got all the assets, they've got all the animations, everything disparate is now in one like neat package, and so I think that's going to be quite good.
Yeah. So
right at the end for all of us.
Definitely. One thing I will say is it was fucking magical when I played Entropy Zero. When I'd finished it, that's 2 years of work. Just me, just sitting on my ass working on it for 2 years. To sit down one night and just play the whole thing was pretty fucking immense. I was like, oh my god, it's pretty good actually. You know, I think it could go places, and you know, so when we do that, it'll be a special time, I guarantee.
Yeah.
We'll have to
but
celebrate.
It is also about what other people see, I guess.
Definitely.
I mean, my girlfriend is actually watching this stream right now, and she's always I showed her. She came over earlier. I showed her like the pistol and some other stuff and some other cool stuff, and she was like, "Whoa, you play as a Combine?"
Oh yeah.
She's only played Half-Life 2. She's never really played mods.
Oh man, you gotta, yeah.
And so I said to her that she seemed really intrigued, and I was like, well, you should play Entropy 01 then. And she said, oh, I will. So she'll give that a go, and then she'll probably be following this really closely, and that's going to be nice to see what she thinks of the final product, because I do a lot of modding and stuff. I don't show her everything because I want her to try out some of this stuff herself when it's done.
That's a good idea.
Right? So I don't want to spoil it all for her. So that'll be really nice as well to see what people think.
It's good. It's a good thing that you know it. I think it's
I'm back.
Oh, hello, you're back.
Yeah, sorry, somebody shut off the internet. I'm back now.
Ah, the old big red button.
Yeah, somebody pressed the wrong button. Where are we up to?
We're just talking about the sort of the magic feeling, the sort of the same question I think that we were on. We were just talking about how it feels a bit different being on the developer side of things, but sort of saying how it's probably going to feel better this time around because we're sort of working as a team, and we all have bits that are sort of changing the project constantly.
Exactly, yeah. We all have a piece of the puzzle that we're adding in, so none of us have the whole picture at any one time that we're working on constantly. So we just add our piece in, and then it all comes together, and then we get to play the whole thing with all the pieces together.
It's cool. Have we got any other questions?
Yes!
I think the
So,
next-
someone asks, will we use any alien weapons like the snarks or bug bait?
The pulse pistol counts, I think.
Yeah, because it's technically a combine weapon, isn't it?
I suppose.
There are other interesting parts of the
Yeah.
arsenal. Don't know if they'd
I
be
think
counted
there's-
as alien necessarily, but
There's a class of weapons like alien weapons, but I don't know if I would use the phrase alien weapons to describe them.
hmm.
I think he's talking more like organic stuff.
Like in a-
use bug bait and snarks as a
A bit like
example.
opposing force. I mean, that would.
Organic, no.
Yeah, there's nothing organic. It would be nice to do something like that, obviously, as like a throwback to opposing force. But then again, I don't
Adding
know.
too much.
Yeah.
Then
Spit.
what would be the storyline implementation, I guess?
Exactly.
It's too much to think about.
Accidentally come across one of those tentacle creatures from opposing force, be like, WTF is this? And then be like, oh, it shoots grenades, so I'll take it anyway.
But I
No,
think
it's just like,
I think I mean, when you think of the new weapons, we've got the MP5K, we've got the Zen Grenade, we've got the slams incoming, we've got the flare gun thingy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say about that. So and obviously the new pistol as well. So that's 5 different weapons already.
I think we're in
So,
a good place with weapons.
I think we're pretty good. Yeah. I think that's enough for now. We don't want to go crazy.
Indeed. So Evan Munger asks, will there be any memey or funny Easter eggs? So like you type something in the console and some crazy shit happens.
Mimi, I don't know. I mean, it's Easter eggs wise, it's going to be related to the Half-Life universe a bit. Think about Entropy 01 with the hula dolls. I thought about bringing them back for another spin. Something like that, but nothing memey, nothing that's going to break the fourth wall, if you know what I mean. Nothing like Fortnite shit in our game.
Yeah. nothing like
Like the Navy SEAL line. I guess that is sort of memey.
That's probably going to be the most, yeah.
the one and only thing we'll add.
I like to be tasteful with the stuff that we do, you know. So if we are going to have anything sort of that's not related to the Half-Life universe in there, it's going to be done in a tasteful way to make sure that it feels like it fits.
And the Navy SEAL line just seems to fit Bad
Well,
Cop
it does.
in a
It
way.
really does.
I've edited it as well, so it uses like it relates it to Half-Life, so it feels to like the Combine and stuff, and not the Navy SEAls, obviously.
I think one thing that you will be able to take away from Entropy 02, there are a lot of good quotes from Bad Cop, and because some of them already I'm just using around the house when I stub my toe or whatever.
His own meme.
You know, so I'm not saying Bad Cop's a meme, but I'm saying that it's a memorable experience that we've got so far, and some of it's pretty funny. So you won't be disappointed in that regard.
Cool. DV9983 asks, are there going to be hints or references to the main characters of Half-Life 2, like Kleiner or Magnuson?
Yeah, there's going to be a gigantic hint. You're going to actually see one prolific character, maybe even interact with this character. So yeah, that's going on. Yeah.
Nick Kelly asks, is Bad Cop based off Deadpool's character?
He's not based off Deadpool. In fact, if I can be completely honest, I kind of based Bad Cop's pessimism and sort of angry, sort of hate the worldiness off of somebody that I used to know.
there you go.
Yeah, so it used to annoy me, the negative outlook, but at the same time it kind of intrigued me. So that sort of gave me a base for his character. And then I think I've sort of pulled from a bit of Duke Nukem in there as well, made him a bit of a wise ass, because I don't want to go full edgelord on him. And we don't want to do
We
full
want him
sort
to
of
be
edginess.
tastefully edgy.
Exactly. Again, it's the tasteful thing, isn't it?
don't want him to be Linkin Park, but like
Yeah, I
he's
saw.
still got to be a bit like whatever.
I've seen some comments on some of the videos that people are getting a bit worried that he's a bit edgy, but I think when you see his full, what he's capable of saying, the whole vocabulary, when you're playing the game, he doesn't feel edgy at all to me. He just feels like a wisecracking a-hole. He's kind of funny in a way.
I mean, it's not like he breaks his leg and is like, oh, but it's not as painful as the pain in my soul.
Yeah, or anything like that. He's very much in touch with his. He knows what he likes and what he doesn't like, and he's very vocal about it. He's just a grumpy guy. I think he's really. If he had a psychopath and he was also grumpy, that is bad cop. He's just pissed off. He's angry all the time.
But also a smart ass.
Very
It's
smart.
basically he's sort of like if Doom Guy could speak, then by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Pretty much, he is the voice.
I think with his personality, he hates humanity. He hates the way that people are. So that's where there's sort of like he's got that internal struggle going on. He's still technically human. He doesn't want to be human anymore. He hates people. It makes him angry. It's stressing him out. All these ad lines fucking everywhere. Oh my god, he gets angry easily.
There you go. Starlight Blossom asks, will Barney be in the mod? We actually had a funny conversation about this, didn't we, like a week ago?
Well, I'll tell you something. Barney technically he has a cameo in the mod now, as of today, in the dream sequence. But you wouldn't know that it was him unless you decompiled one of the maps and actually looked at the names of the entities in the map. So he's there. He's in the dream sequence. If you guys play it in the latest build, you might be able to guess where he is in that, but he's there.
Because I think this question's been posted before or something, and I was like joking, yeah, we should just put him in there, impaled on a spike, with his pants down.
Yeah.
With his pants down as well, right? Okay.
Soiled underwear.
I think it would be cool.
Just really bugger up Barney's whole character.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that's where he went.
Wow. He's not having
Okay.
any beers anymore.
What were you going to say,
No.
One Up?
Maybe he had too many.
Just a beer bottle shoved up his ass.
He could be in the Arctic. We don't really know where he is as of episode 2. He just kind of disappeared.
That's right.
So I guess.
I mean, yeah, he could
it's
have.
not outside the realm of
That's a
possibility.
really, he could have gone with that other team that went up there.
Yeah.
I mean, with the way that Entropy 02 is set up, I don't think Barney would show up at that point. As far as the story is at the moment, because Barney only goes on his way like at the end of episode 1, and that's like right before the Citadel blows up.
Good point. That hasn't happened yet.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oh, yeah, that's it, because we're pre-Citadel Explosion, aren't we? That's a really good point, yeah.
Yeah.
So he would be in City 17 at this point. So, yeah, I guess in terms of being in the lore of Entropy 02, we wouldn't see him. But he's in the dream sequence currently. He's in there as like a past memory of Bad Cop. He's present in that.
There you go. Moving on with the questions. Nimbus Storm asks, in Entropy 02, we know there is going to be a lot of Half-Life 1 enemies. I wouldn't say that. But will there be any enemies from its expansion packs, opposing Force or Blue Shift?
I didn't know we had lots of enemies from
I
original
think
Hammer.
that's not really accurate.
I know we've
There's not
mentioned the
loads.
bull squid,
I
but I
think-
thought that was basically it.
Yeah, I think
There's one. Yeah, Bull Squid.
Oh, yeah, there is one that we can't talk about, isn't there? If you think about it.
Oh, kind
Oh,
of.
yes.
Yeah.
So there's 2.
Is there?
It's kind of it's Entropy 02's take on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know this. I know
So
this.
it's a new creature that isn't Half-Life 1, but is maybe related. Is that a spoiler? I think
No,
that's a spoiler.
that's fine. That's all right.
Leave it there.
That's cool. It's cool, man. We chill. I think, yeah, so there's that thing. And then you've got the Bull Squid, which I haven't played with yet. That reminds me, I need the model files for that, because I tried to spawn it
Oh, yeah.
today, and I just had an error attacking me, which was hilarious. But we need to sort that out, because then we can start playing around with that.
Didn't we get permission to use a new model?
I think
as well?
Yes,
I think we did.
I contacted Braindead and he said we could use it. I just have no idea how to extract models from Black Mesa workshop subscriptions. Because
Oh, man.
installing them at all is really stupid.
I've done that before with Gmod. I think they use the same thing. It is a pain in the ass.
They don't use the same thing.
Don't they
Oh,
use the same thing?
If they used the same thing, I'd have it by now.
Because the Gmod
I've
thing.
been,
Yeah.
I've been doing Gmod stuff for like 3 years, and that is really easy. You just download from Gmod, it works. They store them in archive files called GMA files. They don't
You
do
just
that
have to
with the Black
extract them,
Mesa
don't
stuff.
you? I
Yeah,
think
so
you do a command line thing.
The Black Mesa stuff downloads to like a particular folder, and to get it all working, you have to go in one place. I don't know. Anyway, I will. Yeah, I can't.
Might
I
have
can't
to
get
ask
it.
the guy then.
But yeah, no, I should be able to get it. It's just I'm not used to this particular thing, but I should be able to get it. It should be fine.
Okay, so it'll just take a little bit of time.
Yeah, it will just take me a minute. Like, what's the emphasis on it? Because right now my order priority is Revolver and then Shotgun Rebel. If you want me to do get the Bull Squid files before Shotgun Rebel, that's fine.
No, don't worry about the Bull Squid just yet. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I'll do
just,
Revolver next, then it's Shotgun Rebel, then Bull Squid.
Yeah, but for now,
and then special fire thing.
I can't see myself playing with the Bull Squid for a while. Because I'm not planning on having it show up really until sort of midway chapter 3 and then 4, and if we have a chapter 5, then we can continue it on from there. But yeah, don't worry about it yet. It's all gravy, man.
Cool.
All right, next question. Huey Long asks, my friend told me that bull squids are going to be in this mod. They are correct.
They are correct
if
indeed.
so, indeed. How will the model look like in the Arctic? Is it going to be furry or what?
We wanted to do something with it, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We talked about Alex hairplanes, didn't we?
Yeah. Essentially
As
using
being a way to make it have hair.
I think that
And a
would be
scalp
super
Alex.
cool to do. I think it would be wicked if we could do that. Because then that kind of... I was thinking about having them thriving in like caves and shit. Or maybe living in the old facility. Maybe they sort of like... the northern facility. Maybe they've sort of taken it over. But yeah, I could see them be a bit... have like fur and stuff. Be cool.
Those are all the questions, by the way.
That's
There's
cool.
a quick note about the bull squid. I was using a different projectile for its attack because I couldn't, way back when I first tried to re-enable the bull squid, I couldn't figure out how to get its spit attack to work. So I used the antlion spit attack. But now I just realized there's some other code that I have access to that uses a similar sort of method as the bull squid's spit attack. And so I'm realizing now that, it actually wouldn't be that hard to put the original spit attack back in. So
That's
we
cool.
can get the bull squid working a lot more smoothly than it is right now.
Brilliant.
I can start fixing up the temp version.
I look forward to playing with that when we get to that point. It'd be cool to play around with Bull Squid.
But yeah, actually, right now you can already see the version with the antlion spit attack if you want to play with it.
Oh,
As long as
yeah.
I just have to send you the models.
Yeah, once
And I
you... I'll have a play around with it.
Half-Life- We can keep using the Half-Life source models for now until we get the ones off of the workshop that we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Real quick. So that would mean we're using Black Mesa's animations, right? I assume.
Currently.
Okay. As far as I'm aware, Crowbar Collective have said they're okay with people. That is what they're called, right? Crowbar Collective.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said they're okay with people using Black Mesa content in non-commercial mods.
That was only for the mod version, not the retail
That being
version.
said, but is the bull squid in the mod version? Because if it is, then we're good.
Well, we also have to make sure that the
We should probably
animations
ask them, honestly.
change.
This is probably another Portal Stories Mail, Portal Gun situation. Where we should probably check with them.
Yeah.
Because if they're not okay with us using animations, I'll just rig it to the old Half-Life source skeleton. A little bit harder, but whatever.
Yep.
And then we're fine either way. And if Black Mesa says, sure, you can use the animations, then it's like, cool. Don't have to spend 10 hours rigging it to a new skeleton. So,
yeah.
Anything
I'm happy with anything that saves time.
You did see, Breadman, that Mel has let us use their paw gun, right?
Yes, I did see that.
Yes, and so I guess the plan, and I said my plan was basically to make. Yeah.
Yes. It sounds good.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing. We know what we're doing with that.
Yeah.
Right, that's all the questions. I think. Do you want to play us out with the teaser again?
I do. Just before we do that, I just want to mention that 1UP fixed the closed captions crash for Entropy 02, which means that I'm going to be applying that at some point, hopefully this week, to Entropy 01.
Oh shit!
So that will stop crashing if you have closed captions turned off with Entropy 01, which is going to be pretty cool. I'll try and get that out this week, hopefully, and that's going to be sort of, I guess, the first in a long line of changes for Entropy 01 as well, to sort of bring it up to the standard of Entropy 02. Right.
It would be cool if we could get Entropy 01 into version control as well, eventually. I don't think that's super important just yet, but something that I'd be excited about.
It would be good to do that. I had this fucking crazy idea about basically somehow modifying the view model code to figure out if we're wearing the metric op uniform or the elite uniform, and switch the models accordingly. Because that way we could give players a lot more freedom when it came to mapping with the stuff that we do. Because then
I
they
don't
can.
think there's any code requirement for that because you can set up C arms for that.
Oh,
you
right,
can,
yeah.
You can set up C arms and include models and stuff. There's another mod I'm on which does this. I can't remember how they did it, but it's something to do with the QC, and as long as you have like the model rigged to the same skeleton as what is being used, you can use any arm, any set of view model arms, and so that would mean that you wouldn't need to set up some
Yeah, but don't
complicated
you
coding
need
thing.
code to actually call the arms?
Huh?
Don't you need code to actually call which model you're using?
Yeah. I don't think that would be the hard part necessarily. I don't really know much about how the view model arms work, so I would need to do some reading about that. But
Don't stress. It was more of just a thought, because if we did that, players could then choose, if they were making maps for Entropy 0, they could either choose to be bad cop from Entropy 01 or bad cop from Entropy 02, and it would just change the view model. And yeah,
that sounds awesome. In the meantime, one thing we can do is we could unify the two different code bases by using directives to basically, you could, just like you can compile for Half-Life 2 or compile for Episode 2, we could do compile for Easy 1 or compile for Easy 2.
oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah,
I would want to eventually unite them so that, like you said, you can just toggle between the two. That would be amazing, but that might be like an in-between step if we want to sort of unify things.
that's
So
true.
at the current time, they're like completely separate code bases.
Yes,
And
yeah.
it'd be good to bring them a little bit more in alignment.
Unifying them would be good. I mean, I'm talking about like the games.
Yeah.
To sort of go back and actually sort of maybe have a look at Entropy 01 as a team and see how we can improve it, and sort of sew it to Entropy 02 and do some crazy shit like that. That'd be cool. Right. I will play this trailer and we will say good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for coming.
Oh.
Thanks for coming, y'all.
They used to tell me it wasn't normal to be like me. I don't have one thing to give up for this job. My morality. Some would say I never had it anyway.